So today we have Judy Zimmer, as you all know, speaking on needs and leads, which is a great topic for everybody right now. Judy Zimmer is the president of Coachology US, a Minnesota-based coaching and consulting firm focused on helping leaders and teams know, grow, and maximize their brand. Zimmer's brand includes being a great storyteller and a master connector. Before the pandemic, you could have found her at Park Office Center. She was there all the time. So today, I'm just going to ask you guys while Judy is speaking, just to mute your mic, unless Judy asks you otherwise, or if there's a break in the conversation and you want to add something or ask a question. Otherwise, you could type something in the chat box and I'll be there to monitor it. So thank you guys. And with that, I'll send it over to Judy.
Thanks, Will, and hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. I'm going to declare this the fastest week of the summer. August, the fastest month of the summer. So I am delighted to see so many of you on the screen. And I had a couple comments from folks who are signing up from this saying, oh, they were so excited to see my presentation. And just so you know, I don't have a presentation. If you know anything about me, we're here to have a conversation. All of the wisdom in this session resides in all of you, not in me. And so we're going to share our collective strength and ideas. And if you don't know it yet, you've already inspired me just by coming on board and deciding to join us for this conversation. So again, as a follow-up to the session, Will from Office Centers is going to go ahead and send you a copy of the chat box. So that way you can connect with folks, have emails, and have information. If you want to include your website, you can do that. Whatever works best for you. I want to encourage each one of you to get a hold of each other after this session. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off. So this is called Needs and Leads, and that is not an original idea. But I just, when I was looking for pictures of 2020, I just thought, oh, this one seems to describe it quite well. So we have all had a crazy, amazing, unbelievable year, and there's plenty of time for us to, if we want to shift what 2020 looks like or continue down that path. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. So I want to start off by hearing from a couple of you. What brings you here today? So again, this is a conversation. I'd love for, if you want to go into the chat box and let us know you'd like to share, we will go ahead and call on you and unmute you. So who wants to tell us what the heck are you doing here other than maybe you had no one to go to lunch with today? So Will, tell us who's ready and let's go ahead and hear from you.
Hi,
Judy. This is Janet Pollock.
Hi, Janet.
It's good to see you. And I am just finishing a long project. It didn't get canceled when COVID all happened, but now it is coming to an end. So looking with guarded optimism, I guess is the right way to say that.
Got it. So you're looking for your next project.
I am.
Awesome. So just tell us a little bit about what would be two things that we would hear that would have us say, oh my gosh, that's a perfect project for Janet.
Oh, thank you, Judy. I would say curriculum development, and then maybe any team development.
Okay.
Awesome. I've been reaching out to folks right now saying, now that we're in this new normal, whether we like it or not, it might be a good time to reconstitute the team and kind of remind everybody who we are. It's always a good time to do that in the fall. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Janet. And again, if you haven't put your contact info down in the chat box, please do so. All right. Who's next, Will? Who's ready to tell us what they're doing here?
Okay. Next one I see is Samuel Griffiths.
Yeah, Sam.
He's here to hear how the new normal will affect opportunities.
Awesome. Okay, Sam, can you unmute and tell us more about what you mean about that?
Uh, Very good. Hi, Judy. Judy, we go way back, but we won't go there right now. um, hey, so I've been in the contract consulting business for a long time. And, over the last 2 years, it's been flowing really well. And then my recent contract ended it back in July, and I could tell that the opportunities are less. And I think that's because many people don't know what the future holds, so they're kind of cautious.
Mhm.
Where I focus in consulting is I am the guy you can bring in to help you do budgeting, better understand your financials from an operating standpoint, and also to help you with data. Uh, but with this new normal, I guess I just really want to know more about what people think and what the opportunities are, because I know there are new opportunities that we're not exploring. And sometimes just by having a conversation with many individuals, you can find, oh, wait a second, here's an opportunity that fits, but didn't even think of it. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. So thanks, Sam. Yes, Sam and I do go way back. Sam is also an artist, but I'm going to tell you something about Sam that Sam didn't tell you. And that is, if you want your numbers to tell a story, Sam's your guy. You ever had a system you couldn't figure out? Sam's your guy. You ever have a lot of data, but you can't figure out what to do with it? Sam's your guy. Now, one of the things I want you to notice about that, it's easier for someone else to sell your services sometimes than it is for you. Do you notice how I described Sam's business very differently than how Sam described his business? So we're going to talk about that. Okay, one more person, Will. What brings you here today?
All right. I saw Jim Handy up here. Would like to
Awesome.
learn how others are connecting and engaging with new customers in the COVID environment.
Great. All right, Jim, we have not met, but it's nice to meet you. And absolutely, COVID presents a whole new landscape for us, a whole new world in terms of how we can do business. For many of you, you may have been focused on the Twin Cities market. One of the things that I've been helping clients to do is COVID and Zoom allows us to do business anywhere. So there's an opportunity for you to really expand where you're doing business. So we're going to talk about that as well. Well, each one of you is going to get an opportunity in this to talk more about your needs and leads, because in just a little bit, we're going to go into breakout rooms. So you're going to be in a group of 3, and each one of you is going to get to list your needs and leads and see if you can inspire each other to come up with some ideas around your business. So before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about, well, we know what a need is, right? It's something that your business is looking for, or individually you're looking for. And of course, a lead is something or someone you know about. So for example, I know we have our fearless leader, Miss Lori Spees, on, and I'd love for you to unmute yourself. A great lead from this session would be if you know of someone who's looking for office space. Maybe they're hanging out in coffee shops and would like a more professional way of presenting themselves. Lori, do you want to say anything about fabulous office centers and what's going on in the month of August?
I always want to, right? You know I always want to. One of the things that I was going to say is that, we've all learned how to use the word pivot, right? And we're doing different types of things, and making lateral moves, and sometimes going back as far as what we're doing and how we're looking at our businesses going forward. But I think that what we need to do is just like open the lens so that we can really see the different opportunities that are in front of us, because some of us have become so narrow in what the scope is. A couple of weeks back, Judy, I think you knew I was having a really hard time because we were losing some people and other people weren't coming, and who was going to work back in the office? How are we going to keep people safe? This is such a learning process, and I think that all of us are good to say, let's try to look at things, put on a different pair of glasses, and then even just being in some of these opportunities for conversations with people like yourself are making us open our minds. And I said in one of our calls just recently, we've had a lot in the last couple of weeks. We have to be grateful for what it is we have and use what we have, not focus on what we don't have at this very moment. And so we were starting as my team. August is a big month for office centers. We really want people to look at flexible workspaces. From everything that I've read, in the next 5 years, 30% of the workforce is going to be in flex space. Because if I ask any of you on this call right now, what's your business going to look like 6 months from now, 6 years from now? I think a lot of us don't know the answer. So to keep our options flexible, to be very open, to use our collaborative skills are really important right now. Communication and what we had said, social distancing, not good. Physical distancing, excellent. We all want to keep our 6 feet of different distance, but don't forget that you need to reach out to other people and be there, because Jim Handy, Don, I see a lot of you on here that I know. If you don't know what you're going to do, you may be the next call just showing up, which was our theme for the year, could be where your next opportunity is going to come from. My team and I were really seriously floundering, trying to put together a great calendar for our co-working month, because we always have parties and we have food trucks and we have so many different things, and all of that had to go by the wayside. Again, we tried to focus, what do we have? We have great informative members who can give us the kind of sessions, Judy, like you're doing today. I said, you're one of our favorite member speakers, always give such great insight. And look at the group that we have. We are still providing the services, and we are still honoring and celebrating co-working month, but we're doing it a different way. Look, Will's hats off to co-working. If you come in, all of our members get, look, I don't want to see your head, Will. I want to see your office center logo on that hat. So anybody, if you haven't gotten your hat, come on in with us and look at the calendar, because we've got some excellent events. And I probably have said way too much, but if you need a place to work, our leads right now are through the roof. I think we had 37 leads last week just for people, because I think kids are going to be home. They're not going back to full-time space. People need a place to be collaborative. They need a place to be creative. They need a place to focus on their business. So focus is a big word. Sometimes that means you need to get into a place that's a productive work environment. So there you go. We're here.
Awesome.
If you need us, we're here.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori.
I promise I'm muting for the rest. I won't talk anymore.
Wow.
But now I'm excited. Can you tell what a difference 6 weeks makes?
It's so true. It's so true. And we're going to continue that conversation. Thank you, Lori. And again, if you have any questions on co-working space, get a hold of Lori Spies, the CEO here. Lori, make sure and put your info in the chat box for folks who might not be familiar with it. All right, great. We are going to now move on to a concept that I want to share with you. So my work, the umbrella of work that I do, is all about your brand, whether it's the brand for your business, the brand for you individually. And this is such a critical concept. This was a concept that I learned about back in 2005 from my first coaching certification. And it's one I use with every single client. And the pandemic, this is like on the day you forget, on the day you're feeling like down, or why am I just dragging? This is a great concept to go back to. So it's the doing versus being model. And doing is all about the I have to list, the I must. Sometimes it's the excuses we use, like it's the pandemic, so my sales are down. It's the pandemic, so I can't get anyone new to sign up with me. I should do this, I should do that, right? We have a list of those shoulds and I musts every single day. And I think you would all agree that those lists just suck the life out of us. They just take our energy. And so the place where I want you to focus on going forward is not the doing side. We have to have action, right? Action is critical to our careers, to our businesses. But when you're feeling that way, where I want you to pop is onto the being side. And the being side is the I get to, I choose to, I will, even I will not is about choice, right? And so the being side is what gives us energy. So today I'm going to give you 6 examples of how to be in these COVID times and individually and with your business, whether you're looking for a new project or a new gig or expansion or thinking of new ways of expanding in your business, it all comes from that being side. So the growth comes from being, and here are your 6 ways of being. So I'm going to encourage you to jot these down because in a couple minutes, I'm going to invite you to choose one of these. So first is to be a storyteller. Second is to be curious. Third is to be innovative. Fourth is to be a connector. Fifth is to be inspired. And sixth is to be positive. And so we have someone on the call here who I invited to share a little bit about how they, not only how they're, let's start with being curious, how they're curious, but how they help their clients to be more curious. So I want to introduce everyone to Connie Kroskin. If you don't know Connie, amazing member. Also at Park, and Connie is a marketing professional. Connie, tell us how you stay curious and how you help your clients to be more curious.
That is such a good question, and how that applies to marketing, because things are always, everybody knows marketing is a moving target and we have to stay flexible and adaptable. One of the things that I did early in the year was I got curious about my own business, and just had, after doing this for 10 years and focusing on small businesses, thinking about how do I want to go forward into the new year and what do I want to be doing now, and decided to stay focused on working with small businesses. That's where my heart is, and I feel like those people are the ones who do put their heart back into it. But I also thought about what else can I do for them, and got curious about that, and realized that a lot of small businesses were having trouble with Facebook. Facebook seems easy. It seems approachable. It seems inexpensive. But in order to get results, you've got to get a little deeper with it. There's a lot of deep dive learning. It's a tunnel that is endless and branches off all over the place. There's programming involved. There's, understanding about how ad placements work and that kind of a thing. So and the metrics that go along with it. So I decided to start offering that service. And along with that, I also was curious about I was really concerned, I should say too, about what are small businesses going to do, early on this year. What are they going to do? How are we all going to keep things moving here? And so I put the question out on Facebook, and also with an ad for free marketing, a free 1-hour marketing session. And let's just shoot the breeze, and we're going to brainstorm and see what we can come up with. And got a couple of calls, one of them from a previous client, and we talked about how she could pivot her business. I actually have connected with 3 different interior designers. It's funny how I, got that niche, which I love, but she decided to start an e-commerce business. Another one also decided to start an e-commerce business, who was a referral. And then another one who I met through networking also decided to start an e-design business. So that's a case of 3 of the similar profession pivoting in 3 different ways, just by being curious about, well, what can we do, and being open-minded about it. So it's been fascinating, and I'm on your call today because I love your brand, but I'm always curious about what's working for other people. I want to stay curious about that because it is a moving target.
And Miss Connie, let me ask, is there an offer you'd like to give folks who are on the call today?
Absolutely. I usually offer a 30-minute strategy session. Anybody on the call gets a free hour-long marketing session. And my goal is to give you items that you can take away and do on your own. You don't need me. If there are items you might need me for, then we'll meet again to talk about that. But I'm happy to, oh, look, thanks for the thumbs up there, Will and Lori. Yes, for sure. I really sincerely want to help. I'm with 3 different nonprofits that are all focused on helping small businesses. So yes, I would love to help out if I can.
Fantastic. Thank you, Connie. So again, there's an example of how being curious can actually bring you more business, and like finding a niche, an area maybe you hadn't gone down before can be
Exactly.
incredibly inspiring. So thanks for that, Connie. And again, if your info isn't in the chat box, please get it in there. And folks, I love sending business to Connie. Why? Because I know they're going to be taken care of. Why do we make referrals? I know they're going to be taken care of. So please take advantage of that. All right, I want to move on to be innovative. And we have someone from California on the line here, Mr. Kevin Wild. Kevin, I'm going to have you unmute. Kevin used to be at Office Centers and then decided Minnesota just wasn't big enough for him. No, I'm just kidding. But Kevin, I want you to talk about, tell folks a little bit about your business and how you help your clients to be more innovative.
Sure. First of all, hey, Lori. Hey. So, it's been a long time.
Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted, and so I was waving and squealing, but I thought I was not. No one else could hear me.
Right. I'm
Good
sure
to
you were.
see you, Kevin.
Likewise, Lori. So yes, so I have been, again, I've been a member of Office Centers for over 6 years before moving out to California 4 years ago. And a lot of those connections were really powerful in, again, establishing a lot of different, say, opportunities and obviously a lot of revenue. So obviously that Office Centers is a big aspect to it. So my business right now is highly focused in the innovation kind of aspect to it and transformation. And especially now with COVID, one of the biggest things we're seeing, obviously, is a lot of people have to kind of reinvent themselves or transform how they do things. So it really comes down to looking at, the opportunities to it. So I really get to help companies kind of see where are opportunities that they may not have seen before, especially when it comes to either virtual technology or new technology like AI and virtual reality, all these new things that are kind of coming up. How can we embrace those and take advantage of those to really make it work? And so from an innovation kind of standpoint, we all have to keep on moving constantly, because if we stand still, our competition is moving. So it's the idea, what can we do to move forward despite what's happening around us and find unique opportunities? So I'll give you one example of something that I'm doing here in San Diego. I've teamed up with other business owners, create what I call an innovation advisory board. So these are other consultants, and some specialize in AI, some specialize in mobile technology, another one is in robotics, others are just high-level business consultants. And we've teamed together to offer to companies either an ongoing one-time session or an ongoing, say, monthly mentorship, where we give them advice, whether through let's say a 2-hour ideation session, what they can do to embrace the new technology, what they can do there. All of that came together. When I reached out to these executives, it was amazing how responsive they were to the idea of being able to do this and tap into a resource that otherwise they would have to pay thousands of dollars just to get one opinion. Now they can pay a fraction of that and get 6 or 7 different opinions from experts along with their team. So we always have to kind of look at what that aspect is. And one of the key sources I look for from innovation is monitoring trends. And here's the website that you should definitely check out if you're not already getting information from them. It's called Trend Hunters. They're based out of Toronto, but there's a massive site. Every month, they put out like their top 100 list, top 100 marketing trends, top 100 business trends, top 100 healthcare trends. And it can be a really good source of ideas to kind of draw from.
Awesome. So, Will, I'm going to have you put that, if you haven't yet, put that website in the chat box for folks so they can have that. And Kevin, do you have an offer for folks today?
I do not have an offer. Didn't plan on that. We and I just talked a couple of days ago, and again, most of my business has now been out here. But one of the things I would offer is, if you are interested in keeping track of some of those latest trends and everything else, I post a lot on LinkedIn. I would be love to connect with all of you on LinkedIn. That is one of my biggest lead sources and connecting sources.
Fantastic. And how about, Kevin, if folks want to take an innovation assessment?
That's right. So one of the companies I'm associated with is a company called Thinkergy. They have an innovation assessment called TIPS, which is one of the most robust and deep assessments I've ever taken, that combines not only business but innovation, and it really kind of reveals your profile, your personality profile. So for anybody who's kind of looking for either opportunities, it's a great way of doing it. For those who are kind of looking for ways to amplify their own talents or look at the talents from their team, it's an excellent tool. Judy is a certified trainer. I'm a certified trainer. It is a remarkable tool compared to some of the others that are out there. So I will put a link to that into the chat also.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Kevin. And then one more under the category of be positive. I'm going to call on Mr. Don Hofer to unmute himself. So as you know, small business owners, individuals, individual contributors, we're always looking for insurance, health insurance, life insurance, all that good stuff. And one of my favorite referrals is to send stuff to Mr. Don Hofer, who I make the king of being positive. So Don, tell folks, first of all, tell folks a little bit about your business, and then how the heck do you stay so positive?
And you're a client of mine too, and I'm glad to have you. I work for my clients rather than a specific insurance company. I've been doing this for over 30 years. It's fun for me. The one constant for the rest of your life is going to be change. And those people who look for that change, get a little bit nervous about it, but embrace it, those are the ones that are going to succeed. Those people that think that we're just going to go back to the way we were, sorry, we're not. And embrace that change. They're going to flourish. They're going to have success. The people that don't recognize the change that many of you have been talking about, we're going to see them in the rear view mirror as we're moving down the road. So I could go on and on about the time that I've spent. The one freebie for me, I'm connected with a lot of different people. If I have an office, I'm going to be in my office this afternoon. I'm at my satellite office at my home right now because that's the only place I've got Zoom. But I'm more than happy to spend time. We'll review what you have. Leave your checkbook, leave your credit cards at home. It's fun for me just to sit with people. I'm going to turn 70 in November, and 27% of the people 65 and older are still working. It has to do with loving what you do. It has to do with living longer. And I'm just excited about this amazing world that we have, in spite of those people that are complaining, in spite of those people that are having a hard time dealing with what's going on. I'm planning on flourishing. Things are working for me. I can't wait for the virus to get over, but we're not going back to where we were before. Thank you, folks.
Indeed. Now, Don earlier this year got to help me with a really fun project. Back in the end of 2019, I thought, okay, how cool would it be to, instead of using life insurance as a vehicle for my beautiful little godchildren who are going to be the heirs to the 3 cents that I leave behind for them, because I don't intend to leave them any money. But I was so inspired by my alma mater. Don helped me set up a life insurance plan that is going to help after I'm gone from this world, that goes to my college, goes automatically to my college. Don set it up. It's literally pennies a month that I pay. And I got to send a note to my college and say, hey, when I'm no longer around, you get a nice little check. And Don's the guy. He gives you great estimates. It's way more reasonable than you might think, and so gall darn fun. Donna and I were both giddy setting this up, knowing that 125 years from now, some women are going to get some money from me at the College of St. Benedict.
You're a real Benny, Judy.
I'm here today because of your energy and your enthusiasm and your insights, Judy. Thank you.
All right, folks. So thank you for that. Thank you, Don. All right. It's time to hop into our breakout room. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to go into a breakout room with 3 people. Each one of you gets to tell the folks in your group a little bit about yourself. You're going to hopefully offer up a need and maybe 1 or 2 leads, such that when we wrap up, again, we're going to have a list of what people are looking for. And then if you still have time, I'm going to invite you to choose one of these ways of being that you get to try on. So if you've never been a storyteller about your business, maybe you want to practice being a storyteller. Maybe you're not good at being curious. Practice being curious, okay? So each, for your group, you're going to get 10 minutes in the breakout room, okay? So a need, a lead, choose a way of being. And the goal here is that when you finish, we're going to have a brief conversation about how we've helped each other. And then I'm also going to invite you to put some of the leads into the chat box. So again, when you get a copy of the chat box as a follow-up to this session, we can take the power of this session and really help each other grow. So any questions before I pop you into a breakout room? And what's going to happen with the, as I put you into the breakout rooms here, is you're going to get an invite that says accept your breakout room. Now, for some reason, Will, I'm not seeing that, so I might have to have you do the breakout rooms on your end. If you can do that, we're going to set up 8 breakout rooms. So if you could do that, you're going to be in groups of 3. A couple of you might have groups of 2. But if you could set up 8 breakout rooms for me, Will, that would be awesome.
You got it.
All right, folks. So again, a need, a lead, choose one of the ways of being, and you'll get a timer, a 60-second timer when your time is up in 10 minutes. I'll see you guys after that. All right. Let's see if we have everyone back here. Yes.
It's like magic.
It's all coming back to me now.
There you go. All right. Welcome back, everyone. And okay, what we want to do now is we want to hear from a couple of you. What did you learn from your group? Does anyone, did anyone learn, well, whatever you want to share, a need, a lead, something you didn't know? Let's hear from a couple of you how we can help support each other. Who, just unmute yourself and have at it. Who's ready to share?
Judy,
Yes,
I just met Brian,
Jim. All right, great.
who works with companies trying to start businesses, business advisory group,
Okay.
entrepreneurs, young folks. And I told him about my coaching experience and some of my coaching clients.
Uh-huh.
He and I agreed that we're going to talk again after today. It was a
Fantastic.
great lead that I never even thought would happen, but it did. It's great.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jim. And for you, those of you who know any municipalities, work with cities, that kind of thing, Jim has a specialty in that area as a coach. And so he's the kind of person who you could always send, and he does a complimentary discovery session strategy call with folks. So thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Great to hear that that came up for you. All right, who else?
Hi, Judy. It's Rhonda. I'd love to share.
Hi, Rhonda.
It's great to see you.
Likewise.
I was in a chat room with Jean and Rachel, and both of who are, I think, soon to be thinking about starting new businesses at some point. And my business is I help entrepreneurs create a vision for where they want to go and where they take their company through EOS, which stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. And so I offered a free copy of the book Traction, which EOS is based on, and I offered to spend time with them on the phone thinking about how they could use some of the tools of EOS, even if you're a solo entrepreneur. All those concepts are applicable. So if anybody on this call wants to learn more about it, I'd be happy to spend time with you on your phone or on a Zoom call.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Rhonda. And again, Rhonda is an amazing business advisor working with folks in the outstate. I love her story. Rhonda spent the bulk of her career here in the Twin Cities, and for the love of her mother, moved to Alexandria. And I never met a person I didn't love who put mom ahead of everything in their life. So if you want to talk about moms and or EOS traction, moving your business, Rhonda is an incredible resource and a great connector. Rhonda definitely embraces the be a connector piece.
Thank you, Judy.
Thanks for being here, Rhonda. Who else learned something from their group that they want to share? Or maybe you have a need that you want to express to the rest of the group and give us a chance to pop up some ideas for you. Who's next?
I'd be happy to share.
All right, Kevin.
So Amy Loken and I met with Mary, and so Mary's got a unique business thing that she just launched in January, and that's being working with people who've been in accidents, from a transportation standpoint, get over their nervousness, which was new to us. We hadn't really done that. So it's a little bit of psychology along with the actual application, given her background to it. And so obviously one of her needs was how to get the message out. And is it working? What's the best way to get more of that? Do you work with municipalities? Do you work with legal, lawyers or insurance companies, those kind of aspects? But really what she provides is a service to help people get over their nervousness, that apprehension you have or after you have had a major accident. So it was pretty fascinating to both Amy and I as far as how that was. And of course, it comes down to how do you share your story? So that was the key.
And just to add to that, I thought it was really interesting that Mary can work with anybody virtually anywhere. So her niche is really interesting, and she's got a great safety background. In fact, she can drive a semi and with no problem, unlike Kevin and I probably, who would be contacting her afterwards. But just extremely interesting and very fascinating. So.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. And Mary is an incredible caregiver. Again, I can tell you that from knowing her for many, many years. So excited to hear that. All right. Who else? Who has a need that they'd like to share with the group? See if we could bubble up some help for you.
Hey, Judy, this is Barb Price.
Hello, Barb.
How are you?
Doing awesome. So tell
Great.
us about a need you have that we might be able to help with.
Well, I was interested, you had mentioned that it's easier now to find opportunities in other states. What's the best way to go about that?
Oh, that is a great question. And maybe I have a couple ideas, but Kevin, since you moved a while back and left our fine, beautiful Twin Cities, maybe I'll start with any input you have when you moved to California. What's a good approach for getting contacts in a different state?
Sure. So even if I was still based in Minnesota and I wanted to reach out to San Diego, I would join just groups on LinkedIn and reach out and make those initial connections, whether you have similarities in background, whether they're peers or if it's potential businesses. If you have something of value to offer, people don't care, especially now, where you're at. They really care that you can do it. So for instance, going back to Mary's services, it's really kind of unique. And so she can literally do it virtually from anywhere in the country. And so for that fact, that has value, what she's able to offer. And so my first approach is either you can do Facebook, but to me, because a lot of what I do is business to business, I use LinkedIn on a regular basis, and I just reach out to join groups, and that helps me establish and kind of foothold within the area.
That is a great tip, Kevin. Thank you for that. Does anyone else have any ideas how to get new business out of town that they want to share? Yeah, Connie.
Yes, start with who you know. Check your LinkedIn connections and see who you may already know that's out of state and can maybe make some introductions. And even if they're not exactly in your target market, if they say if they're, you know, ancillary, close enough, I would still contact them and ask if they can make an introduction. And just be yourself and be honest. Hey, I'm looking to expand my business. I wonder if there's anybody you could introduce me to in your company or in your area. Start with who you know.
Great tip. Thanks, Connie. Yeah, most people tell me, you know, like, I don't know who to tell my story to, right? And I always say, start with your phone. The average person has over 600 contacts in their phone. And think about how many people you haven't talked to in a long time. So I do something as simple as I go into my phone, I start with the A's. Who haven't I talked to in the A list? And start by making calls. And a great way to introduce a call like that is to say, I'm curious. So one of the things I know about the work Barb has done in the past is Barb is an amazing controller, helping companies find controls, whether it's in the finance group, in operations. She's worked in multi-billion-dollar companies and very, very small companies. So one of the things that Barb is able to do is to help bring order to financial chaos. Now, again, do you notice how different that story is? It's one sentence. Who do you know that's in a company that is experiencing financial chaos? A lot of times Barb comes in when somebody has, maybe they resigned, maybe somebody got in an accident and they've got to get a hold of Mary. Barb is someone who can step in and pick up the organization with a click of a finger. So just saying, hey, so-and-so, we haven't talked in a long time. I'm curious, do you know of any company that's experiencing financial chaos that could use some help? Does that help, Barb?
That's awesome. Yes, thank you. That's very helpful from everybody. I will do
I wanted
each
to
and every
add
one of
too.
them.
I wanted to add too, Judy,
Please.
that being a part of a community really helps, because I look at a lot of these faces across the board and I recognize that a lot of us are members. But when we came to office centers, me, 39 plus years ago, and the people who come after, none of us knew each other at that time. And look at this core group, and it's very inclusive for anybody who wants to come in and be a part. Pick your posse. Who are you going to hang with? You've got to make sure that you have people who are open-minded, that are success, that are driven, and all of the kinds of things. And you find those things. It's invaluable, because what we do at office centers is not about four walls. It's about how are we going to connect together and make sure that all of us, I wanted, just a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so, I had a problem. How am I going to look at home like I am at the office? Look at what Amy Loken, who is offering this as a special, did for my home office. When you're on all of these Zoom calls and you're showing up, it's really important to show your brand. And Amy, tell them about, because like I said, you can get one of these and she's got them at a smoking deal, and they travel with you to wherever you're going to go. So, and not only that, she came to my house so that I have tape on my desk so I know which way to put my camera and how I'm going to get my, how long did we spend? We went from one side to the other side of my office and rearranged the furniture, but your visual is important in how you're showing up. Your visual when you're in the Zoom calls is very important, because a lot of times this is everyone's first impression of us. How are we going to show up to these Zoom calls?
Awesome. All right, I want to give one more person a comment, closing thought, an observation. Mary, yes.
I just want to say thank you to Kevin and Amy for those endorsements. That was really nice. And I also want to say that what Lori just said about the backdrop, I just took down my logo banner because I was tired of looking at it when I'm on Zoom. And so now I'm going to put it back up.
Thanks.
Awesome.
You might be tired of it, but everybody else, it's new stuff to us.
There
Yes.
you go. All right. So again, I want to give folks these last couple minutes to pop into that chat box. If there's anything else you want to share with folks, again, you're going to get a list of the chat box. And here's what I would encourage you to do as a follow-up to today. First of all, this is what I look like after I've made a connection for someone. So this photo, if you're looking for photos for your website or social media, this photo was taken by Will. And I told Will it is still one of my favorite pictures. When I send a proposal to a company, I always include this picture. And those of you who know me well know, yep, I can get pretty excited about connections. So here's what I would encourage you to do as a follow-up to today. Connect with the folks you met in this group on LinkedIn if you haven't done so before. Send a referral to office centers. If you know of someone who would like to look at a space, send those to Lori. Really be a connector. There is no better time to make introductions than during this COVID. And if there's something I can do to help your business grow, or you have a question or an idea, or most importantly, if you're stuck on something, you want to get unstuck, do not hesitate to reach out and ask me how I can help. The best part of the COVID story is the resiliency that all of us have had an opportunity to live and reinvent who we are. Follow up with Kevin, get the innovation assessment, follow up with Maria, see if you can set up a wine tasting online. So many great people, so many great opportunities. Let's leverage the positive energy that we have for each other, for doing good in the world, and let's make each other better. So thank you for your time today. It has been an absolute joy, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the flesh in the near future. So take care, everyone.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time that you've given us. And anyone from office centers, keep on our website. We have lots of free content. Whether you're a member or not, I care about your small business. We need to band together. And you know what? We're here for you. And we hope that someday you get a membership, but we've got lots of things for you if you want to come in and just join us. Will, can you talk about headshots? Because Judy's giving you credit right here. And then we can sign off. But happy co-working month, everybody. Hats off. Stop in and get your free hat. Will, you can tell.
So we have a lot of great events coming up, a couple of which are headshots, business headshots that I'll be taking through office centers a week from today on the 13th, and then another the next Thursday after that on the 20th. Next week is going to be at Park Office Center. We're offering headshots, 2 headshots for $39. It's a killer deal. You're not going to find a deal like this anywhere else, really. And then again, we're going to do them at Woodbury on the 20th. A lot of other events happening. Too much to rattle off right now. You guys should just go check out our website. I'll type in the chat right before we sign off here. So everybody, thank you again, Judy, for this, and yeah, everybody else, thank you for joining us.
There will be a link, right? If you want to share this with your peers, if you know somebody who might benefit from Judy's insight, it will be on YouTube. So along with the chat box, there will be a video as well, and you can forward that off to friends. And we appreciate so much the time that you've taken. It was a good hour spent today, wasn't it, folks?
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks everyone. Take care, and let's keep on being and growing, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Judy.
Bye.